Yo, folks, this is going to be an interesting video. It's kind of at the intersection of just a little bit of everything. So, kind of sucks to say, but over the past year, I've been dealing with a ton of harassment and intimidation from my landlord. Uh, he's been blocking my path when I come and go, stealing my mail, and then taunting me about it with literally text of him holding the mail that he stole from my mailbox. He's been stalking me inside of the building and around the building in order to start arguments with me, frequently in the street, when I'm out with friends, and even with colleagues that I work with on technology projects. He even installed a camera directly in front of my door, which can view only my comings and goings, and he uses to aid in stalking me. He's been starting rumors among my neighbors, encouraging me to commit suicide. And recently, he entered my apartment without notice and without permission. I've had enough. Under Washington state law, this is domestic violence. While it's true, I've been behind on rent, it doesn't give anyone the right to stalk or harass a tenant. Um, from speaking to tenants of his, both past and current, I know I'm not the only tenant he's treated this way. So I've had to start a GoFundMe um, to help me move. If you'd like to help me with that, you can, and I'll drop some links down in the description. Um, so I'm sure a lot of people are like, how do we know what's going on? And one of the interesting things is I've caught countless instances of my landlord kind of making a fool of himself on camera. So here's just one.
Hey, I have a COVID test for you.
Thank you.
All right, catch you later.
Oh,
What's that?
that.
Oh yeah, totally. See ya. That's right. Sir, kids, happen to be video recording you, and you seem to be opening the mailboxes. Is there a reason for that?
These aren't your mailboxes. These aren't your mailboxes. Boxes. They're not even active.
Okay, fair.
You're really pushing it, dude. I've already got 3 false police reports. Second, referred to me threats to blackmail.
What?
You are so far out of your depth. It's really sad what you've done to your your community support for your child. Doing this business out of hacking police. It's so contrary to everything that's progressive in the world. I'm so sorry I ever got involved with you. It was obviously a huge mistake. I just enabled you to fuck over a lot of other people, including me. Have a good day, Alan.
Nice seeing you too.
So in that video, there's a few things to unpack. First, I was just going to the front door to meet a friend and take them some COVID test and medications. As I got to the front door, I noticed my landlord with all of the mailboxes open, and he was rifling through them. Since he'd previously stolen my mail, I naturally wanted to know why he was in the mailbox on that particular day. By the time I had my camera out, he was closing them. I thought, I'd ask him a few questions, and I thought his initial response was fair enough, not particularly interesting. For whatever reason, there are 2 sets of mailboxes, but I'm not really sure why the landlord needs access to them and needs to access them as frequently as I've noticed him. And I didn't particularly see him handling my mail that time, so I let it go and assumed the conversation would end there and began to walk away. Instead, the landlord launched into his usual tirade about my personal life and politics. This one was particularly short. This type of interaction, however, has become par for the course with this building super. So while it's true, I sadly did go through family court, and I don't have as much custody of my daughter as I would like back in 2020. I'm not really sure how that has any bearing on why my landlord would be rifling through our mailboxes for the entire building, and why he was stealing my mail to begin with. And I'm not really going to go too deep on the family court stuff today, but know that obviously I love my daughter dearly, and I miss her every waking moment of every day of my life that I'm not able to see her. Sadly, my child custody situation just has nothing at all to do with being a bad father, and has everything to do with being a black male in a courtroom in America. I went flat broke fighting to be in my daughter's life. I spent literally every penny I had. My damn near 80-year-old parents put $30,000 on their credit cards to help me get a lawyer. And we couldn't even afford to keep the lawyer for the full length of the trial. I only had a lawyer for like a third or a fourth of that trial. So that is why I got behind on rent in the first place. Prior to that, I've been a model tenant, never missed a rent payment for over 10 years, and it wasn't always easy to pull that off. I've never had any sort of particular complaints, and really no complaints prior to this with this landlord. I've actually lived with this landlord off and on in that 10 or 15 year rental period for I think something like a combined 8 years. So yeah, absolutely absurd. The second thing he brings up is about the fact that I was a speaker at DEFCON in 2023 and spoke about technologies that are in common use by police. And newsflash, everybody, being black while doing cybersecurity is not a crime. You repeat after me on that one. Being black while doing cybersecurity, not a crime. So when he's talking about this shit, that's just anti-black racism, and he's just showing his true colors. Being a landlord doesn't give you the right to be a racist to your tenants just because they're behind on rent, or just because you don't like computers or cybersecurity or black people being engaged in cybersecurity. While I am a nerd and have a computer science degree, really none of that has protected me from systemic racism and the economic realities that come along with systemic racism. The overall picture that black Americans face, and I'm, one of many black Americans who are part of this struggle, there's over $15 trillion which are missing from the pockets of black Americans due to slavery, due to redlining, and due to, most importantly, the casual, systemic, and sustained economic racism deeply entrenched in America. So black Americans are over 300% more likely to be evicted, and that didn't come out of thin air, right? It's a direct result of an economic system that never paid its debts that are owed to black Americans. Instead of paying black Americans for the sin of slavery, where's that money go? It's been going to the police. It's been going to arresting and harassing the homeless. It's going to war. And right now, most importantly, it's going to genocides in Palestine and Congo and all over the world. Another thing my landlord increasingly brings up is that I perform mutual aid. It's true, I do frequently volunteer to help feed and clothe the homeless people in my neighborhood. Seattle's a long-standing housing affordability crisis, which disproportionately affects black Americans and results frequently in them being overrepresented in the homeless population. I will absolutely never turn my back on my community. I grew up around a Southern black church which taught me that helping all people in need is a cornerstone of black liberation. My landlord frequently accuses me of bringing homeless people into my home. Well, who my friends are is my business and mine alone. The mutual aid programs I volunteer with do not serve the public from my home. And though I'd absolutely love to provide more shelter for the homeless if I could. My home is not used to house homeless people, which I might add would not be a crime, nor an evictable offense, even if I did it. Buildings can absolutely have a visitor's policy for sure, and the lease. My building had no written rules on this topic prior to my landlord's making baseless accusation and essentially illegally claiming that he changed the rules with a snap of his fingers without notice. I'm fairly certain such a policy would not be legal if he precluded certain visitors based on their housing status. So really, this landlord is assuming things about people, and quite frankly, most of my friends are housed. Now, they may not have the best fashion choices or aesthetic. That's not a reason to harass me over who I hang out with and who I associate with. So anyways, I'm always going to be talking about the intersection of technology, economics, corrupt white supremacist police states, and my landlord can't censor me for that. Nor will he ever stop my work to aid homelessness. Excuse me. Nor will he ever stop my work to aid the homeless, nor will he stop my work in black liberation. So yeah, at the moment, I need some help. If you're able to drop a few bucks on my GoFundMe, I deeply appreciate it. Funds that are donated will be first and foremost used to get me up and out of this bullshit Slumlord's little playground. Anything beyond that will go to legal fees, so I can hold this racist ass Slumlord accountable. Uh, if you broke like me, that's okay. Stay tuned. I have some calls to action that you can help with. It's important that we educate ourselves on our rights as tenants, and most especially important that we make an example of bad slumlords, so this doesn't happen to people that are less able to stand up for themselves. This isn't the video I was planning to make this month, so obviously the situation is going to take me a minute to resolve. Stay tuned. We'll get back to the actual computers and hacking, or rather, I kind of need to start publishing videos more regularly because people evidently love my content from DEFCON. I'd love to produce more. So I'm hoping that I can move on to a little bit more stability in my life and be able to pump out that awesome content. And yeah, so anyways, hack the planet, people. Peace out.